Hey everybody, what's going on? Today's video is going to be a Neo Geo instruction manual viewing. To get things started, we're going to take a look at Fatal Fury, both English and Japanese. As you can see right away, vastly different artwork. Yes, I know that the English artwork does get criticized a lot. I think I even ridiculed it myself in one video. And the Japanese, which looks really badass. The opening intro for the Sega Genesis version of Fatal Fury actually uses this style of artwork. Alright, so let's open up. Here we have the legend of the seeming normal town miles away. Fatal Fury. Open up this as well. It's the same thing. Like I mentioned earlier, the instruction manuals for the Japanese and English games in some cases are virtually identical to one another, with the only difference being the text. Sometimes you do have other differences, but not always. Alright, there's a story of Fatal Fury, killed by Geese Howard. This actually is expanded upon in Art of Fighting 2. Fury. This is from the opening intro screen. There we got 3 heroes, Terry, Andy, and Joe. Table of contents. And the Japanese. Man, you only get the same thing. Next page. Basic rules of the King of Fighters. Do we really need to go into great detail? Absolutely not. Okay, next page. Starting the game. Of course, when you start the game, in AES mode, you get to pick your difficulty level. 2-player simultaneous buy-in. That was one of the big features of Fatal Fury, in that it had 2-on-1 battles. So you could fight the computer 2-on-1, but afterwards, you would have a 1-on-1 battle to see who gets to continue on in the King of Fighters tournament. And here we have a screenshot of the action. As you can see here, this is a 2-on-1 battle going on. Basic information, score, stamina, time limit. And here we have the bonus stage, which is arm wrestling. The home ports for the Super Nintendo and Genesis did not have this. The Super Nintendo, you kick tires. The Genesis version didn't even have bonus stages. And here are the controls for the game. Very simple. Punch, kick, throw. Button D is not used. Let's go to the Japanese version. As you can see, the same thing. Just written in Japanese. Now onto the characters themselves. The heroes, Terry, Bogard, and his move list. Burning Knuckle, Rising Taku, Crack Shoot, although they have different names here, Power Wave. One thing you're going to notice here is that there's actually a difference. Let me show you the Japanese page for Terry. Let me put this side by side. I want you to take a look at this. These are the moves, the same moves in order. There actually is a slight difference in commands for some of these moves. For example, the super shot, which is the kick that Terry does. Here it's diagonal back, diagonal forward B. And here it's quarter circle back, diagonal back, B. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but you get the idea. And the same thing applies to Andy and Joe as well, where some of the special moves are executed differently between the US and Japanese versions of the game. So let's take a look at Andy here really quick. Andy's profile, artwork. And these are Andy's special moves. So we're going to compare it, same thing, side by side. Slightly different here. Yeah. Matter of fact, here just about every... Okay, with the exception of the third move, which is his power... I don't know why they call it power punch. It's a kick that he does. Every move is executed differently here. And let's take a look at Joe Higashi. I don't know if I said this before. I think I have mentioned it before. I was never really a big fan of using Joe in Fatal Fury, but I like using them in Fatal Fury 2, Fatal Fury Special. Let's take a look at Joe. Same thing here. Well, let's just quickly look side by side. Any differences and how the moves are, the commands. Yep. Yep. All but his TNT punch have different commands. So let's take a look at the map of Southtown. Pow Pow Cafe, which becomes a recurring location in the Fatal Fury and King of Fighters series. Western Subway, where 70% of the people are addicted to drugs. I'll make sure never to visit that part of town if I ever get a chance to visit Southtown. One day I will. And also Dream Amusement Park. I gotta stay away from that. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the map of Southtown here. It's the same thing. And the characters, the enemy characters, Duck King, Michael Max, Richard Meyer, Billy Khan, Raiden, also later known as Big Bear, Tung Fu Ru, Hua Jai. Some of these guys will be in the upcoming King of Fighters 14 game. Tung will be there, Billy will be there, and of course, Geese will be there. But let's take a look at the next page for the Japanese. It's the same thing. Geese Howard's profile right here. He is a former champion of martial arts. One bad motherfucker. Memory card. Oh, and I like this. This is really funny right here. To prepare for a fight, they're munching on junk food. Fried chicken for Andy, a big footlong for Terry, and a burger and a soda for Joe. I love this humor. I love the SNK humor. It's one of those things where, yeah, you have great storylines and all, but at the same time, they still try not to take themselves too seriously. I like that. And, yeah, we don't need to know about that. And that is Fatal Fury for the AES, US, and Japanese. Next up is Fatal Fury Special, which is a revamped version of Fatal Fury 2 with color artwork. Battle of Fury. Here we have the controls, title screen, picking your difficulty, and ooh, look what we have here. My difficulty setting. Believe me, even on easy difficulty, this game will kick your ass. Alright, memory card, character choice, 15 characters to choose from as opposed to 8 in Fatal Fury 2. You get 3 characters returning from Fatal Fury, Tung Fu Ru, Billy Khan, and Duck King. No, not Duck King. Duck King, Tung Fu Ru, Geese Howard, and then the 4 boss characters are playable. Yeah, look at that. We have a battle between Krauser and Geese Howard. Different types of attacks. The plane system, which is what Fatal Fury is best known for. Jumping retreat. Power blows. Yeah, the attack system in this game is a bit more complex compared to the first game. Well, I mean, really starting with part 2. Definitely makes a lot more use of the plane system in this game compared to the first title. Basic rules. We got Andy, Terry, and Joe. Kim and Big Bear, formerly known as Raiden. Defeated, try again. Believe me, you're going to be continuing a lot in this game. And we have all the different locations in Fatal Fury Special, like Part 2, which is, like I said, a rehash of Part 2. It takes place all over the world instead of Southtown. Alright, we got more artwork here. There are the different locations. Terry, I like Terry's stage. Andy, Joe, Bear, Mai, Kim. But one of my favorites in this game is Duck King's stage, which is in a dance club of sorts. Lawrence Blood, Geese Howard, Krauser. And we got more artwork here. Very nice. There we have the moves list coming up. Got Terry. Andy. Good to see all that. We got Joe. I'm gonna move a little bit quicker here. Try not to make this video too long. This is gonna be a lengthy video. Got a lot of games here to show you. A lot of manuals here to show you. Of course, like I said, Big Bear used to be riding. Jubei, who considers himself a ladies' man. We got Cheng. Okay, let's get a closer look. Okay. Kim. One of my favorite characters. Although actually I like using him in King of Fighters more so than Fatal Fury. Duck King. Tong Fu Ru, who will be in King of Fighters 14. Billy Khan, Axel Hawk, Lawrence Blood, Geese. Wolfgang Krauser. Find hidden secret power blows, the desperation attacks. One of the earliest fighting games to use desperation attacks. Well, Art of Fighting, I believe, was the first. Fatal Fury 2 followed shortly afterwards. And here we have the Dream Match. Of course, you know about this. I know many of you guys know about this. If you can go through the game perfectly, good luck with that. You will fight Ryo Sakazaki from Art of Fighting. Memory card information, basic stuff. Alright, so let's take a look at some more artwork. Ooh, let's get back to her in a bit. Fatal Fury, Fatal Fury 2, Fatal Fury Special, and let's zoom in on my, Does it focus? Alright. Alright, and that is Fatal Fury Special. To wrap things up, we're going to take a look at the manual of Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, the newcomers for the Neo Geo CD. I don't actually own the Neo Geo CD system. I do want to get it one day, but I wanted to get this game for the CD anyway. I have an MVS card of it, which is good enough for me. But right now, I actually don't have any space for Neo Geo CD. I can get rid of the system to make room, but I don't want to do that yet. There's some artwork. Get in the ring. Okay, that's the boring stuff. Let's get to the good stuff here. Alright, we got the controls, which follows closely to that of the previous Real Bout Fatal Fury games. It's a little bit glossy, the paper for this manual, so I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit. All the different options. Character select, 22 playable characters, nice size roster. It introduces 2 new characters to the game, Rick Stroud and I can't remember, Li Jiangfei or something like that. I always have difficulty pronouncing her name. She would also appear in King of Fighters games as well. And you also have a hidden character in Alfred Airhawk, but you have to meet very tough conditions in order to be able to fight him. And when you continue, you have options to make the next match easier. King of Fighters 98 had this as well. It's one of the earliest Neo Geo titles that gave you this option when you had to use a continue. Alright. And the sway system in this game follows that of Fatal Fury 3 and Real Bout Fatal Fury, except that with 2 lanes instead of 3. Whereas Real Bout Fatal Fury Special followed that of Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special, where you can freely move between lanes and stay in that lane. Where here you just sway in and sway out like the like I said, Fatal Fury 3 and Real Bout Fatal Fury. Here are your power gauges: H power, S power, which is your desperation attack, and P power, which is your super desperation attack, which is potential power. But you have to have a full S power meter, and your life bar has to be flashing red to be able to pull off that move, and it does a shit ton of damage. And here's the character, Rick Stroud and Terry. Alright, survival mode, versus mode. Survival mode, basically beat up as many people as you can within 1 health bar without dying. And you have your options. Alright, here, let's get to the good stuff here. The special attacks. I mentioned your break shot, mighty baller moves, which is your desperation attack or your super move, and hidden ability or potential power, which is your super desperation attack. Which, like I said, you have to have a full S meter, and your life bar has to be flashing red. And let's get into the moves for the characters. We got the new guy, Rick Stroud, and we got the other new character, Li Jiang Fei. And the returning guys, Terry Bogard, little brother Andy. There we got Joe, Mai, Geese Howard, Billy Khan, who is a major pain in the ass in the Real Bout games in general. I think any Real Bout game, you name it, Billy Khan is a major pain in the ass. He loves to do the ultra fire swirl. That you have to watch out when his life bar is flashing red. He loves to pull that move off, and that does a lot of damage. I cannot stand fighting Billy Khan in any of the Real Bout games. And one of my favorite characters to use in the Real Bout series, Bob Wilson. I just love using him. One very fun character to use. Han Fu, Blue Mary. These three characters were introduced in Fatal Fury 3, along with Mochizuki. All these 4 characters made their first appearance in Fatal Fury 3, as well as Franco Bash, which I use every now and then. And Ryuji Yamazaki, same thing, also debuted in Fatal Fury 3. Also made his first appearance in the King of Fighters series in King of Fighters 97, as well as Blue Mary. You have the Jin twins, Jin Chozu, Chonrei, the Zin twins. I always get it mixed up. Jin Chonrei. Same thing. These are the boss characters in Fatal Fury 3. Also, another character I love using in the Real Bout games, Duck King. I love using Duck King. Because you know what is with Duck King and Bob Wilson? I just like the different types of. I like their capoeira and their breakdancing moves, especially their spin kicks. I just love using them close range combat. You can really pull off really good combos with that. Kim Kap-Wan, Shin-Zan, who first appeared in Fatal Fury 2, Tong Fu-Ru, and finally Lawrence Blood and Wolfgang Krauser. Alright, and that is Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, and here we have some artwork of Li Jiangfei. Alright, so that is it for this edition of the Neo Geo Instruction Manual. So we took a look at some of the Fatal Fury games. Fatal Fury, both US and Japanese, Fatal Fury Special, and Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, the newcomers. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching.